this Bills and Chiefs game coming up this weekend. Obviously, this is a matchup that we've seen several times before in the postseason with these two quarterbacks, with these two teams. But what do you think this time around will be different and could be the difference maker in who comes out with the win?
Well, I think there's an experience factor, certainly with Josh Allen and the Bills. I mean, both teams, like you said, have been in it together for several times, 3 times in the postseason. They've 4 times in the regular season. But I think there's a lot of confidence coming from this Bills team. The season that they've had, the fact that they beat the Chiefs early on in the year. And I feel like they've had that experience on the road before and can learn from it. So I think for them, that's something that can differentiate them. They're not turning the football over. They're playing complementary football, really difficult to find or to key in on one guy. As Josh Allen has always said, everyone eats. That's been the motto this year, and it certainly has held true, and the defense have played well. So I think, they're coming into Arrowhead with a lot of confidence, but certainly you got a Chiefs team that also has only lost 1 game, and that was to the Bills. And so I think you're going to have another tremendous matchup on our hands on Sunday.
And you mentioned confidence, and a lot of people are saying Josh Allen is just different this year, whether or not they explain that in his stats or just the way he's playing football. What do you think? Do you think confidence really has a key in that, or what do you think is the difference with Josh Allen this year?
Yeah, I mean, certainly confidence helps, but he gets that confidence because of the way he's playing. And I think he's realized in the past taking care of the football is huge, the most important thing. He's limited his interceptions, and then he's taken the team on his back when he needs to. He knows when he needs to run. He knows when he needs to make those plays. And I think it's just a different team, a really unselfish team. As he said, you don't have to put, your water in just one bucket, and, everyone is involved, and it doesn't really matter. And then he's got an incredible offensive line protecting him, which, certainly puts a quarterback at ease. And so I think you are seeing a confident Josh Allen, and that's because the whole team is playing with confidence. And they really believe this is their year. They've had a tremendous season. They've been able to beat the Chiefs. They've been able to beat the Lions. And so they're going to go on the road, and I think this is their best opportunity to make a Super Bowl.
Now, do you also think we're seeing a confident Patrick Mahomes? His wins have been very small margins this year, but do you think at this point in the postseason, he's also at that confidence level with Josh Allen is at?
Yeah, he's always at that confidence level, especially in the postseason. Certainly always believes in himself and in his team and the players that surround him. It certainly has been an interesting season for the Chiefs, the way they've won games. I think, 16 straight by 1 score or less. And but they've learned from that, and that certainly puts them in a good position late in games that believe that they can win these late. It's happened in the playoffs against the Bills. It's happened throughout Patrick Mahomes' career. When he needs to put that cape on, he does. And so he's certainly playing with confidence as well, hasn't turned the ball over in this playoffs, has been limiting the turnovers as well. And it's a similar, sense with the Chiefs in the idea that there isn't one guy with them either. Everyone does eat. They run the football now, which is really huge. And they have a defense, a complementary defense. And I think what really has helped Patrick Mahomes over the last few years is he's okay to let the defense win it for him. And that's an important mindset to have going into the game.
Now, Patrick Mahomes, as you mentioned, he's dangerous in that fourth quarter. He's had several comebacks this year. Do you see this game being a down to the last drive type of matchup between these two teams?
I do. I always feel it is. And certainly I go back to that 13-second game, which is probably one of the best games of all time that I've had a chance to cover. And, these two teams are really evenly matched. There's so much on the line. You've got, 2 quarterbacks that are future Hall of Famers in my book. And, they know each other so well. The coaches know each other so well. The Bills have certainly played in this environment before. They've played in loud environments. The weather's not going to be an issue. So I think they're really 2 even teams just trying to make it back to trying to make it to a Super Bowl for the Bills, certainly, and back to the Super Bowl and trying to win a three-peat for the Chiefs. So I think they're even teams, which usually means it's going to come down to the wire.
Now, you mentioned the coaches, and obviously you've talked to several coaches throughout this season. And Sean McDermott, what about him specifically do you think makes him such a great leader of this team and has put them in the position to go to the Super Bowl and, win this whole thing?
Yeah, of course, what he does, X's and O's, and especially on the defensive side of the ball, has been tremendous this season. But I really believe it's the mindset that he brings to the team. It's what he does during the week to prep them. It's how he allows his leaders to get involved. It's how he's allowed Joe Brady to run this offense. The idea of bringing him in last year was huge. And I just believe he really is focused on making sure that the team's mindset is where it needs to be going into every game. And that's really the word that comes up every time we sit down and we talk with him. And they're going to need the same thing going into this game on Sunday. But I believe this is one of his best coaching jobs of his career.
Now, obviously, this is an away game for the Bills, but Bills Mafia has showed up, I believe, more than ever than they have this season. Do you think there's any possibility of this feeling like a home atmosphere for the Bills? Obviously, it's on the road. Kansas City is going to be there and be loud, but how do you feel that Bills fans will show up for this game?
Well, of course, Bills Mafia always shows up, and they always travel, and they're in full force, and absolutely love being surrounded by them. I love being in Buffalo and how they pack that house, and the fans are tremendous. But I mean, it's going to be hard to take over, a stadium like Arrowhead and with their fans, because they come out in full force as well. They're one of the best fan bases in the NFL as well. So, it'll be interesting. Will we see the blue and the red, which is kind of, Buffalo colors? I don't know, but I think you're going to see a lot of Kansas City fans as well, unless maybe they get a little Chiefs fatigue too. I doubt it. I think they're looking for the three-peat.
Do you think the home field advantage really matters in this game for the Chiefs, or do you think this is something that, they've been at the top of the AFC and they've been in this spot hosting these games? Do you think this is a home field advantage that is really going to impact this game between the Bills and the Chiefs?
I think home field advantage always helps. It really does. The environment, the noise, handling the noise. And we saw it when the Chiefs played, in Buffalo. It's really difficult to run your offense the way you want to run it with the fans that loud. And both of these fan bases are so loyal, and they do bring, the noise. And so I think it's going to be key for Kansas City and the Chiefs fans to be out there, to try and do whatever they can to throw this team off, throw the Bills off, disrupt their timing. Communication's going to be really key. And, Patrick Mahomes talked about it this week. They need those fans in full force. It really does help them. And they understand they need to be quiet when, Mahomes and the offense is out there, but when their defense is out there, be as loud as possible. And I do think that the comforts of your own home, it's why you get home field advantage when you're in the playoffs, when you have the best record in the AFC. And so they're going to take, full advantage of it, no doubt.